गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in verse number which verse we are on? Verse number 508 of Vivek Chudamani. We are looking at experience of reality of this seeker who has been guided systematically, thoroughly, clearing all his doubts in many verses and pages. Now we are reached. Now last quite a few verses we have been seeing the experience of reality from verse 480 till now. We are seeing this student, this seeker who has established in the truth, had a glimpse of the truth, and he is unable to stop himself from expressing his experience. Just like when you see a good movie, it's free advertisement for the movie. You go and share it with every Tom, Dick and Harry that it's a fantastic movie. Like I keep sharing with you the biographies of various masters. I get so inspired that it comes out automatically. I don't know what I'm going to say about that master, or am I even going to say about it. But it has captured my imagination here in the relative. Imagine even more so when you are within that infinite blissful experience that you are, and you have experienced, you are that, and you have had that direct experience without any support, without any means, without any inference. How much more potent it will be. And it is a natural. Just because we have realized the phenomena of life will continue. Once we have known there is electricity, it does not mean that the light stops functioning because we know electricity now. Just because we know there is gold doesn't mean that we stop using ornaments and beautifying ourselves and decking ourselves up. Similarly, having known the reality, the mind again comes back into play. Now that mind which had absorbed into in the reality as the reality. Another example, just like when the mind gets absorbed in the deep sleep, next morning you say, I had a wonderful sleep. Mind is automatically, it feels refreshed. Imagine when that mind, that identity has absorbed permanently into the essential nature. How much more potent it will be. And it's a natural for the mind to express what it has directly, it's trying to express what it has directly experienced, because the only way we can communicate, well, there are two ways. One is through silence, like Ramana Maharishi did, and the other is like our Adi Shankara. Yesterday was Adi Shankar Jayanti. It was his birthday yesterday. So our prostrations to him for bringing us this fantastic text. So how much more potent it will be, that experience, direct experience will be that mind is unable to stop itself from trying to communicate what it could be, what it was, or it is even at that moment. Because this is an transcendental experience. It is not an experience of the relative. It is an experience beyond the mind. See? As much as you may want, if you are sharing an experience with someone of what chocolate is and the other person has never tasted the chocolate, you can use whole lifetime to explain what the chocolate is. Words will never be enough to directly communicate the experience of the chocolate, the bliss that you experienced. Similarly, this mind is trying to put across its direct experience through its direct experience of the infinite, and it is trying to put it across through finite words. See, this is the conundrum of the mind. And the best way that can be done is by way of words, examples, verses, ideas that are given in the scriptures. And that's what he had studied. And now he is bringing out, the student is bringing out the butter out of everything that he has studied, because he was sincere, he was available, he was taking in the words of the master Adi Shankara subjectively, not only collecting information like we do. And as a result, now when his mind has again clicked into activity after having been absorbed, out of everything that he had listened, he is trying to communicate. And here we are in the last verse we saw, in the 507th verse last week, Raver yatha karmani sakshi bhavo vahner yatha vayasi dahakatvam rajjor yatha ropita vastu sanga tathaiva kutastha chidatmano me. Raver yatha, just like the sun is illuminating everything and does not get attached to the activity or the karma, or the activity, just simple, to the activity of all that which it is illumining. It does not get attached. Just as the fire burns everything, as the relationship between the snake and the rope, just like from the rope's point of view there is no snake, from the sun's point of view there is no darkness, from the gold point of view there are no ornaments, from the water point of view there is no wave. Similarly, from the self point of view, which is one without a second, if you are sitting in the self as the self, being the self, then what is the disposition? I alone am, ekameva dvitiya, nanasti kinchana, nothing else apart from me. This, for a person who is identified with the body and living at a relative existence, for him to even envisage what it could be like, I gave you just few examples just now, but to imagine what could it be that I am established in the self and I see everywhere around, I see the self. It is out of our imagination, because as long as we have an identity, till then you cannot even come close to this transcendental experience. As long as you are having an identity, you cannot experience the bliss of sleep. Exactly, even more so. As long as you are there as a person, as somebody, you cannot go beyond the mind. And where are all these somebodies, all the roles? The Gaunatma, the Mithyatma, they are all in the mind only. They have to be dissolved. And this seeker He has dissolved all of them, and therefore he says, so is my being witness. Tathaiva kutastha chidatmano me. Kutastha is the substratum, the anvil. Just like the blacksmith uses the anvil, the base of the metal, on which he gives shape to various iron pieces, exactly the same way, the self is the anvil on which all the modifications are taking place, but it itself is not getting affected, influenced by, attached with the modifications, just as the sun does not. It illuminates the whole world, but it does not get attached or influenced by the world. This we have to recognize about ourselves, that our essential nature is like that. Untouched, it's pristine, immaculate, uncorrupted. See? Thinking is required to think about this, but our thinking should be such that the thinking must dissolve. I keep repeating this, in these examples are coming. This example keeps coming up. We think about sleep only to dissolve all the thinking by allowing our mind to be absorbed by sleep. Allow that to happen consciously, where you are thinking of the essential nature, and that thinking should be in such a manner that the thing and the disposition, the faith, the commitment, the surrender, the devotion, the patience, all that is required. And allow yourself to be dissolved. Only fear is holding you back. Fear of becoming a nobody. But you have data. Every night you become a nobody by going to sleep. So why the fear when it comes to consciously going to the self? So is my being witness to the who is the immutable conscious self with reference to the objects of association. In other words, it is a natural state of being witness and not becoming witness through efforts. Efforts are required by the jiva, the individual. And as long as we consider ourselves, who is individual? Who considers himself that I am the body. If he considers himself I am the body, he will do yoga. If he considers that I am rich and if he thinks I am a father, he will take care of the children. I am a husband, he will take care of wife. I am a son, he will take care of parents. I am a community member, he will take care of the community and the country. If he thinks I am the body, then he will do yoga. If he thinks I am the pranayam, we are talking about efforts here. If he thinks he is nothing but the pranas and without breath he cannot live, he will do pranayam. If he thinks he is the mind, he will try to surrender the mind. If he thinks he is the intellect, he will try to understand, to go beyond the intellect. In mind, he wants to go beyond through devotion and love. In intellect, he wants to inquire and go beyond the intellect. But as long as you are putting all these, what I just mentioned, all these require efforts. What effort is required for you to be alive? You already are. You don't require any efforts. So be. So instead of being, we keep shortchanging ourselves by thinking that I need to realize. So, sir, you are saying like this, so does it mean that we should not seek the truth? No, you seek the truth. Let the mind seek the truth. Not you. Let the mind seek the truth. Let the mind be devoted to the truth. Let the mind be sincere. Let the mind do the abhyas. Whatever is required to be done, efforts have to be put. They are only the efforts are put only by the equipment. Efforts are put only by the body, breath, mind, intellect. You are like the sun in whose presence all activity is going on. Stop being identified with the equipment and then thinking that I am thinking, I am feeling, I am breathing, I am the body, and so on and so forth. This is where we are making the mistake. And it has gone so deeply entrenched because of the lifestyle that we have lived, because of the company that we have, because of the education that we have, because of the everywhere we hear that we have to survive, we have to secure, we have to do this, we have to do that in order to be successful. And it has gone deep. Therefore we run after professions, everything is happening, friend. Everything is happening. Coming to recognize this, that everything in my life has just happened, and throughout the life I have been the witness of what was happening. The body grew, I am always there. So how do I know that the body grew from child to teenage to youth to middle age to old age? There must be some substratum, some unchanging principle which was illuminating the change of the body. There is some unchanging principle which is illuminating the incoming and outgoing of breath. There is some unchanging principle which is illuminating all the feelings and thoughts that are coming and going every second. Be that one, rather than get identified with the thoughts and then create agitation and restlessness within yourself. The more we become attentive towards this natural poise of our being, to that extent, automatically everything will dissolve away. Automatically. If you are agitated and restless about sleep, you will never be able to sleep. Think. Never be able to sleep. You have to, even just for a few seconds, in spite of the agitation and restlessness, you have to find that space. 2, 3, 5, 10 seconds, whatever it is, sometimes 1 second, that you are absolutely silent. And in that moment, you are sucked in. So is true with regards to the self. So is true with regards to the self. It is waiting all the time. Sleep is not waiting all the time. Sir, don't challenge us. No, but the self is waiting all the time. Its grace is ever. It is like the ever effulgent sun. It is waiting. The only thing is the mind has to become available. Throughout this text we have been saying, we have to become available. We have to become available. When we chant Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, it is not to praise the Guru. It is for our benefit that we are making our mind focused at the altar of the Guru, so that our mind becomes available to be absorbed, so that our mind becomes available to the grace which is ever present. But if the mind is not thinking about the ever present presence and is thinking about names and forms, then who is to blame? Who is to be blamed? The self, the Guru. or ourselves, because we kept the windows closed of our mind. So, in this way, it is a natural state of being witness and not becoming witness through efforts. Witnessing cannot be brought about. Witnessing is not a result that that uh, that you will get. It is a happening. It happens by grace when the right conditions come about. You cannot make yogurt, but you have to create the right environment, leave it alone, and the yogurt is available. But if you again and again throughout the night you go and check, "Arey, yogurt bana ke nahi? Why? Where is the gone?" You take a spoon, put it into that hot water, hot milk with warm milk with the culture, and "Arey, hardly 2-3 pieces of yogurt are there. Where is the rest of it gone?" And you keep doing this throughout. In the morning you will not get yogurt. It will not set. And this is what we do on the seat of meditation. Where have I reached? How much I have gone in? Have I surrendered or not? I have to do this. I have to do that. Today, so with that thought, now we enter into 508th verse. Kartapi va karayitapi naham. Kartapi va karayitapi naham. Bhoktapi va bhojayitapi naham. Bhoktapi va bhojayitapi naham. Drashtapi va darshayitapi naham. Drashtapi va darshayitapi naham. Soham swayam jyotirani drugatma. Soham swayam jyotirani drugatma. Kartapi va karayitapi naham. Bhoktapi va bhojayitapi naham. Drashtapi va darshayitapi naham. Soham swayam jyotirani drugatma. Na aham, 2 places, 3 places it has come. First line naham, second line naham, third line naham. Naham, I am not. So what I am not? Neither am I the doer, nor do I prompt anyone to do. Kartapi va, karayitapi va. See? So I am not the doer, nor do I make anyone do anything. This is his experience. He is coming from there. Now this tube light, this light of the self has switched on. And with that light, when he looks around, he sees. This is the 4th chapter which tells of Bhagavad Gita. See? And what is that? That in every action there is inaction, and in inaction there is action. Both are coexisting simultaneously. See? When this is realized by the seeker, by the karma yogi there, he comes to the 15th chapter, Karma Sannyasa Yoga. He renounces action to a large extent, because he realizes that, hey man, I never did any karma. All activity is happening. This realization it comes that activity and inactivity both are happening simultaneously all the time. See? And when he realizes that in the 4th chapter, he renounces all action. And when he renounces all action, automatically what next? When he has renounced, meaning stopped giving importance that I should do this, I should not do this. I think all the miseries in my life are because of these people, or I have to move away from all these people who are creating trouble in my life and making me agitated and restless. It's taking full responsibility. And what is the responsibility? That activity and inactivity are happening. And then in the sixth chapter, when his mind has been withdrawn from all activity, activity happens at three levels: manasa, vacha, kaya. So at the body level, at the speech level, and then at the thought level. So he has withdrawn from all that. In yoga, it will be the stage of pratyahar, where the mind is with itself and not interested in going out of the senses into the world, even if the stimuli are there. Then what to do with this mind? If you leave it alone, eventually some stimuli, some idea, some concept, some conviction, some vasana, some desire will catch hold of that mind. So before that happens, sixth chapter begins. Go into meditation, start thinking about the self, contemplating on the self by chanting Om. Use some mantra. So a positive direction is given to the mind, where the mind, that withdrawn mind, and what did it withdraw from? It withdrew from the multiplicity of the world, the multiplicity of names and forms. It has withdrawn. It is not interested anymore. Now, in that mind, consciously, the thought of the self is introduced, or the mantra is introduced, so that it can become introvert. When it has withdrawn from all the names and forms, humongous potential is available with it, because all that potential energy of the mind is not getting broken up into all the thoughts and desires. Now everything is available, and if that is directed towards the self, what cannot be achieved? So same way here, kartapi va karayitapi naham. I do not, I am not the doer, nor do I prompt anyone to do anything. I do not prompt anyone to do anything. It's all happening. Just like I do not prompt the air to move around the earth, I do not prompt the ocean currents to go around, I do not prompt the body to grow also and to deteriorate. Everything is happening. He is recognized, this seeker who has established in the self, he is recognizing his disposition now, that neither I am the doer, nor do I prompt anyone to do anything. Bhoktapi va bhojayitapi naham. Neither I am the enjoyer, nor do I make others experience anything. Neither I am the enjoyer. Mind is the enjoyer. As long as it is the joy or bliss or some fantastic, mystical experience which comes and goes, it is only at the level of mind, as divine as it may be. But if it has come and gone, it is happened only to the mind. It has got nothing to do with self-realization. You are still, if you get caught up in that, we are still short-changing ourselves. It's a new trap which we have allowed ourselves to be sucked into. So neither I am the experiencer, bhokta, and nor do I make others experience. If others are experiencing, people experience when they go in the presence of masters, they experience many things. If you take the position of the sun, sun cannot say that I am making the people act because I came up in the morning. Now in my light, in my illumination, the whole world is waking up, and now they are going and putting efforts. They were lazy buggers before. Now they have woken up. Now they will be acting, they will be putting efforts, doing their jobs, following their dharma. Now see, so many people are seeking the truth. It's because I gave the light to them. As ridiculous as this sounds, that ridiculous is for a realized master to say that because of me people have realized. See, no master worth his salt will ever claim that, because the master's vision is one without a second. Everything is the self. So where's the question? So when a guru comes into our life, guru's disposition is that self that I am alone is appearing as this body called the guru, and this body is which is called the disciple. The game is going on, drama is going on, play is going on. In the scriptural language, Leela is going on, the divine play is going on. But where we take ownership, where we accept the differences to be real, we accept differences to be real only because we accepted this body alone I am as the reality for ourselves, then that divine play is lost, even though it is going on, but we are not available to that divine play. Then we start taking life seriously. That I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to realize I am miserable, I am depressed, I have to secure, I have to do this, I have to do that. Nothing. And then we go to the masters and expect that their words, their touch, their teachings will give us a solution. Solution does not lie outside of you, my friends. The one-stop shop for all solutions. Shift your attention to the self. Scriptures are only for your intellect. Your intellect is not convinced. If you are convinced that self is the ultimate name of the game, then you don't need to study scriptures. It is stupid people like us, we go and study scriptures because we are not convinced. We still want to understand the world. We still want to understand who I am. What is there to understand? Other than shifting, do you understand what sleep is? Every night you surrender to the sleep. How come you surrender without understanding? Think. So you are surrendering to utter ignorance. Consciously you are surrendering to it. And here we are saying you surrender consciously to the conscious self, and that becomes my God, that is I don't know, it is so difficult, it is so out of this world, oh my God, I don't know, I think it is a very divine thing, and I am so corrupted, I am so impure, I am so this. You find n number of excuses. See, this is how we sabotage ourselves. And these thoughts can come to anyone's mind. So here the teacher is saying that come to the divine, come to be the divine self that I am. From there, neither I am the doer nor I prompt anyone to do anything. Neither I am the enjoyer nor do I prompt anyone to experience anything in this life. And understand, ego expresses as only two ways. How do you know there is ego? Even though it is not there, but we see it functioning at this moment. Someone is speaking, oh Swamiji, that was very nice. Oh Swamiji, I understood it very well. So who is this one? The karta and the bhokta is the ego. Ego is equal to doership plus enjoyership. Both of these fellows They are one and the same, but both of them have to dissolve. Neither we should move around in this world wanting to enjoy anything, because then the desire will come, expectation will come, and you will move away from yourself. And that will require some activity, and then you will become the doer. And if you become the doer, and both of these, doer and enjoyer, they feed each other. The more you do, the more you enjoy. The more you enjoy, the more you want to do. And the ego keeps becoming strong. And the whole plot is to dissolve this doer and the enjoyer. And therefore it is told, Kartapi va karayitapi naham, bhoktapi va bhojayitapi naham, drashtapi va darshayitapi naham. Third line, neither I am the seer nor do I make others see. See, what is the difference between a master and a jiva, the individual? The jiva says, I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the sleeper, I am the seer, I am the hearer, I am the taster, I am the thinker, I am the experiencer, I am the knower. This erring personality, it is the error. This error is missing in the master. The one who has come to abide in the self as the self, from him he sees, but he doesn't become the seer. He experiences, the mind experiences, but there is no experiencer born. Activity happens, but no doer is born. And the moment in us when the doer, suppose right now, listener is born and the speaker is born, that very moment we have disconnected from our essential nature. If we have become the listener and we have become the speaker, even though we are the self all the time, but we have fallen down from that pristine position. See, the moment man thinks about wife, immediately he stops being a man. That very moment husband will start expressing out of that man, isn't it? Same way. So man is, without man, husband cannot express. But now man is not expressing. Who has the objective view of everything? Now what is he having? He is taking a role based on account of attachment, of identification. Same way in us, the waker is there because the waker is attached to the waking world. Dreamer is there because dreamer is attached to the dream world. Seer is there because it is attached to the seen. Thinker is there because it is attached to the thinking. In a master, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, thinking, experiencing, knowing, waking, dreaming, sleeping, everything happens. But there is no corresponding personality born. No corresponding personality born, which owns that particular experience, which owns or identifies or relates with that particular object of experience. Drashtapi va darshayitapi naham. Neither I am the seer, nor can I make anyone see anything. So what are we doing here? We are speaking and you are listening. All this language is okay. But if we are not subjective in our approach at this very moment, neither, actually speaking at this moment, neither teaching is going on nor listening is going on. Leela is going on. Divine play is going on. Just like water plays with water and a wave is formed. Similarly, here, self playing with self. At one point, the self is appearing as the speaker, and another point, the self is appearing as the listener. And the game is going on. Play the game. Allow that. Don't get involved in it. Your attention must be on who is illuminating this game going on, in whose presence this Leela is going on. See? Then there may be a possibility of transcending the mind. Then who am I? If I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer, I am not the seer, and I don't make anyone do anything, I don't make anyone experience anything, I don't make anyone see anything, then who am I? Soham swayam jyotirani drugatma. It says that I am absolutely different from this, self-illuminant. That statement is wrong there. Soham, I am. Who I am? I am the self-illumined, all-pervading reality. Just like the sun is self-effulgent, it doesn't require another light in order to be seen or experienced. This self that I am, it is Swayam Jyoti. It is self-effulgent. It is illumined by its own light. It cannot be illuminated, it cannot be known, it cannot be seen through thoughts. It cannot be seen through your senses. It cannot be known through ideas or concepts. It cannot be known through conviction. It cannot be known through inference. It cannot be known through examples, similes. Why? It is self-existing, self-effulgent, self-knowing. There's no all the other examples that I gave, that is second-hand knowledge. But sir, I am illuminating the sun, my eyes are illuminating the sun, so how can this sun example be valid? Well, that example was valid at the relative level. The sun is self-effulgent, and in its light activity happens on the earth. But that same sun is illumined by the eyes are illumined by the mind, and the mind is illumined by whom? In whose light are you able to see the thoughts? That is the self-effulgent principle, that I am, that is the Swayam Jyoti. Come to ascertain, come to this disposition that no amount of thoughts, convictions, ideas, scriptures are ever going to deliver me the self. They cannot deliver you the self. No teacher can deliver you the self. Self is self-existing. You are already that. Then why are we studying all this? Answer. Why are we studying all this?
Purify the mind.
Thank God. To remove the mind, to dissolve the mind, to purify the mind. And afterwards it doesn't matter. Once we have established, then it does not matter. Mind will continue in whichever way it has been programmed. Not for you, for the others. So in this way, Soham Swayam Jyotiranidrugatma. Now continuing in the 509th verse. Chalatyupadhau pratibimbalaulyam. Chalatyupadhau pratibimbalaulyam. Aupadhikam mudhadhiyo nayanti. Aupadhikam mudhadhiyo nayanti. Swabimba-bhutam ravivad-vinishkriyam. Swabimba-bhutam ravivad-vinishkriyam. Kartasmi bhoktasmi hatosmi heti. Kartasmi bhoktasmi hatosmi heti. Chalatyupadhau pratibimbalaulyam. Aupadhikam mudadhiyo nayanti. Swabimba bhutam ravivad vinishkriyam. Kartasmi bhoktasmi hatosmi heti. Just as an ignorant person superimposes the unsteadiness of the reflection in the water on account of the disturbances in the water to the sun in the sky, aupadikam mudadhiyo nayanti. The one with the stupid, the stupid fellow, what does he do? He superimposes the upadhi in which the reflection of the sun or moon is going on. So, because there are waves on the water, he says, oh, see, the moon is dancing on the waves of the ocean. He sees the earth going around. He doesn't see that because that's not his experience. He's in the same place. But he superimposes the sunrise and sunset onto the sun, which has never moved from its position. This is what it means here. Chalatyupadhau, chalati upadhau, pratibimba laulyam. Pratibimba is chalati is the movement, upadhi is the modification, pratibimba is the reflection. So he who superimposes the movement of the medium in which the reflection is taking place onto that which is reflected is a stupid fellow. So if you are superimposing, sun has never moved, self has never moved, but you are saying, we, all of us are saying, what? I am going, I am seeing, I am hearing, I am touching, I am thinking, I am experiencing. What is this? We have superimposed the movement of the Panchakoshas, of the 5 sheaths, onto the unchanging principle that the self is. And on account of, because our attention is on the changing, just like in that example, because the stupid fellow's attention was on the movement of the water, the wave, and therefore he came to the conclusion the moon is dancing on the waters. Therefore he came to the conclusion the sun is rising and the sun is setting. Similarly, we also say, I am awake now, I am going to sleep now, I am hungry now, I am going to work now, I am understanding now, I am a mumukshutva now, I am having doubts now, I have got clarity now. All this is superimposition on that unchanging self, which is self-effulgent and self-knowing. Think. Swabimba ravivad vinishkriyam. So, swabimba bhutam. Similarly, in the modificationless self, who is like the sun, the modifications of the mind, etc., are superimposed on the self, and one says, I am the doer, enjoyer, oh God, I am dying, etc. As stupid it is to superimpose all the activities of the people on the earth on the sun, that sun is making me awake. Then what about those who do night shift? Then night is keeping them awake. For them, night is the sun then. No. So this self is like the self-effulgent sun, which is allowing all activity to happen. The sun is allowing all the activity to happen without becoming the doer of activity. Point to be noted. If there is no sun, you cannot have the life as you know it. There will be no waking dream sleep. If the sun is not there, everything will collapse. See? Sun is not making anyone do anything, yet it is supporting in its presence all activity happens exactly the same way. The self is that in whose presence, in whose effulgence, in whose grace all activity happens. And where does the activity happen? Activity happens only at the Panchakosha level. Where does activity begin from? Avyakta, the unmanifest. And where does it conclude? Into the gross, till the gross. So from the unmanifest to the gross, all activity is supported by the self. Just like the sun supports the activity, the waking and dream of all the beings on the earth, and allows them to, and because he is there, that is why sleep is also possible. So earth will not be able to move around if the sun is not there. But sun is not making the earth move. Same way, this self, it allows all the activity at the body, breath, mind, intellect, and the Anandmaya Kosh, the unmanifest, to happen without becoming the, what is it? Kartasmi, Bhoktasmi, Hatosmi, Heti. Without becoming the doer, the enjoyer, the destroyer. Or Hatosmi, Hata Asmi. Hata means to hit or to die. That I am dying, I am being born, I was in depression, now I have come out, I was unhealthy, now I have become healthy. It's all happening. That is at the empirical level, at the what do you call? Transactional level, yeah. Transactional level or the body level. It has got nothing to do with the self. In the presence of the sun alone, so many people are dying and so many people are being born. So many diseases are taking place, so many healing is happening. Sun, you cannot attribute all good or bad to the sun. Similarly, it is foolish, it is stupid to say that all these activities are mine, that all these activities I am doing. No, you are the effulgent one. You are the illuminator in whose light all activity is getting illumined. Because of our identification with the changes, we superimpose the changes, and through the medium of the changes we define ourselves, and that is called a jiva, or the seer, hearer, toucher, feeler, taster, whatever. This seeker was also like that before. If you remember all the questions that he asked, now he has transcended. Now he is saying, Kartasmi, Bhoktasmi, Hatosmi Heti. Neither that Swabimba Bhutam Ravivat Vinishkriyam, just like the Ravivat Nishkriyam, just like the sun is without any activity. It is not prompting anyone to do anything. Today's millennials, they defy. They sleep in the midday. So, sun cannot do anything. Hey, I came up so many hours ago and you didn't wake up. You can't say anything. No, they're defying the sun. But sun doesn't say, oh my God, he didn't even chant Gayatri Mantra. He does not respect my presence. I came up with such hard work only to bless him, and he is still inside his room under the pillow, under the duna, not becoming available to the freshness that I am giving. Nothing like that. So is the case with the self also. Continuing, 510th verse. Jale vapi sthale vapi, jale vapi sthale vapi, luthatvesha jadhatmakaha, luthatvesha jadhatmakaha, naham vilipya tad dharmaihi, naham vilipya tad dharmaihi, ghatadharmair bho yatha, घटधर्मैर्न भो यथा जले वापि स्थले वापि लुठत्वेष जडात्मकः नाहं विलिप्यत धर्मैः घटधर्मैर्न भो यथा. As the qualities of the pot have no relationship with the pot space, this gross body may remain either in the water or the ground. I am not influenced by the attributes of such a body. Just as the space inside a pot and the space outside the pot, is there a difference? Yes and no. Qualitatively, they are both the same. But transactionally, where there is usefulness attributed, then when our attention is on the pot, we have given it the name pot space, but the space inside and the space outside is exactly the same. So here it says, as the qualities of the pot have no relationship with the pot space, space does not get affected if there is a pot or no pot. If your house burns down, is the space going to cry, oh, I am burning, please help me escape from this house? Has anyone experienced that? Exactly the same way. Self, the infinite self and the individual self, they are one and the same. You are calling the self as individual only because your attention is on the conditionings called the body, gross body, subtle body, causal body. Upadhis. That is why you are calling it the jiva. Jiva Atma. Atma with conditionings, with upadhis is called jiva. Jiva without conditionings is the pristine Atma, the immaculate Atma, the spirit. This is your truth. So where is your attention? Is it on the pot? This pot? Or is it on the one which is within the pot? See? We saw before in Vivek Chudamani where we slowly, by taking away the layers of the onion, came to the core of the onion. Same way, we undo the pot layers and we come to the core. And then we realize that this core is one without a second. This essence is one without a second. This seeker has come to realize that. He is established in it. Therefore, he is able to speak like that. And somewhere within us, we appreciate it because that is our natural state also. That is why we are appreciating it. That is why we are drawn towards it. That this is a, arey yaar, it's gelling with me. I understand. And this understanding has to take place now. This gelling has to happen now. This surrender has to happen right now. This dropping of the, in spite of the pot, your attention, is it on the conscious space pervading this pot? You cannot do it afterwards. Do it right now while we are talking, while we are in satsang, while each word is coming. Each word coming to you is a stimuli to make us come back to ourselves, to come to this conscious principle, to this conscious space. That pot, that bucket, it is inert. But here, this pot is inert, but there is some consciousness within it. It is not an inert space, it is conscious space. The space of the mind may be inert, but the one who is expressing, the one who is knowing, the one who is illuminating, the one because of whom life is expressing in this pot, unlike the inert pot, that I am. So rather than getting sucked into the upadhi, the conditionings, our attention must be to get sucked into the conscious space that I am. Don't give too much importance to the conditionings. All activity, activity means movement. All activity is possible only in the conditionings, only in the matter. And what is that? From unmanifest to the gross. Only there the activity is possible. Another way I'll put it, only in the 5 sheaths, gross, vital, mind, intellect and Anandmaya Kosh. Their activity is possible. Or gross body, subtle body, causal body, their activity is possible. Waking, dream, deep sleep, their activity is possible. These are all conditionings. And you are not making it happen. It is happening. It is the nature of the equipment is to get excited, to get activated in the presence of light. Just like when there is no sunlight, we become unmanifest, we go to sleep. When the light comes up in the morning, we get automatically activated into activity. Similarly, when the mind is unavailable to the light, it goes to unmanifest. When it comes to the light, it becomes activated. But that you got nothing to do with that. Why you are identifying with these three waves called waking, dream, and deep sleep? It's like saying that, oh, the moon is dancing on the three waves of the ocean. That's stupid. I'm not saying, he's saying. Mooda dhiyo nayanti. See? So this is how we are shortchanging ourselves, by identifying ourselves to the conditionings. Take back your power. Be the conscious space. Jale vapi sthale vapi luthatvesha jadatmakaha naham vilipya tad dharmaihi ghata dharmair nabho yatha na aham vilipya. When the modifications break down, Naham vilipya, I do not vanish. Just because the pot broke, the space does not vanish. The space is always the space. Similarly, when the gross, subtle and causal vanish, the conscious self does not vanish. It continues to be conscious self. Tad dharmair ghata. So whether the tad dharmair ghata dharmair nabho yatha, just like the example of the pot that was taken above. So in this way, again another pointer is given to us, that by this seeker, that what is his experience? That he is of the nature of conscious space, unaffected by the activity of the modifications or the sheaths. कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्व खलत्व मत्तता, कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्व खलत्व मत्तता, जड़त्व बद्धत्व में मुक्ततादयः, जड़त्व बद्धत्व में मुक्ततादयः, बुद्धेर्विकल्पा न तु सन्ति वस्तुतः, बुद्धेर्विकल्पा न तु सन्ति वस्तुतः, स्वस्मिन् परे ब्रह्मणि केवले द्वये, स्वस्मिन् परे ब्रह्मणि केवले अद्वये. कर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्व खलत्व मत्तता, जड़त्व बद्धत्व विमुक्ततादयः, बुद्धेर्विकल्पा न तु सन्ति वस्तुतः, स्वस्मिन् परे ब्रह्मणि केवले द्वये. Now, in conclusion, all this what he said till now, what is the conclusion? Doership, enjoyership, cruelty, being intoxicated, inertia, bondage, liberation, these are imaginations of the intellect. These have no place whatsoever in the non-dual infinite self, which is beyond the Prakriti and its modifications. Prakriti, nature. Modifications are possible only in nature, relative nature. Modifications are not possible in the self-effulgent self. Modifications are not possible in the sun. Modifications, waking, dream and sleep are possible. Activity is possible on that which is illuminated by the sun, not in the sun. Similarly, activity is not possible. Doership, what is that? Kartrutva, bhoktrutva, the doership, the enjoyership, and khalatva mattata. Khalu is cruelty. Mad is intoxication. Then jadatva, inertia. Then Jadatva, Baddhatva. Baddhatva is bondage. Vimukta, liberation, etc. Adaya, etc. etc. That I am a seeker, that he is realized, I am not realized, that I am the body, that I think I am sattvic now, I have overcome the tamas and rajas, that I am a great devotee, that I am a intellectual, that I am a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, that I have got a great. Today only someone spoke to me and we were discussing, and they were saying, oh, I said, they said, what did you do yesterday? Yesterday was Adi Shankar Jayanti, and I chanted few of the Adi Shankara stotras, and then a great feeling of gratitude was there in my heart that I didn't even know who Adi Shankara was in my firstly. Only when I went to study at the ashram, then I came to know there is someone called Adi Shankara. And when I studied the bhashyas and the various compositions that he has made, Bhaja Govindam, Vivek Chudamani, etc., etc., a great feeling of respect and reverence, that how beautifully he has analyzed the entire journey of one who is bound, and shown him a, 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 a pathway, a direct pathway to his own essential nature without getting caught up anywhere. And he has not done through just a Vedanta Sar or Atma Bodh or Tattva Bodh or Vivek Chudamani. So many texts he has written. And in everyone, it can only come out of extreme compassion in that great master. And I was feeling the gratitude. And I said, oh, by grace. I was going to say that it was by grace that all that has happened in my life has happened. And before I could say that, that person said, oh, I think you must have done a lot of good deeds in your last life. That's why you got it in this life. That it was your past karmas, it was your prarabdha, it was your good merit from past life. And the thought that came to me straight away, I also used to believe that once upon a time, maybe about 22 years ago, 24 years ago. But from that time onwards, one day when it clicked, that if I am saying that it is because of my merit in past life that I have been graced by so many masters, by understanding the scriptures have come into my life, the teachers have come into my life, this opportunity of continuously being satsang has been provided. It is all because of my good deeds that I performed in past life. I am digging my own grave right here and now. Because then my attention is going to individuality, that I have put efforts in my past life doing the right things. No, my friends. All this is by all this is by His grace. It is not my doing. Even these words that are coming out right now are only by His grace. When they will stop, also will be by His grace. Everything is His grace. Nothing is our merit. If our attention is going on our merit and demerit, understand, ego is speaking. See? So one has to be very alert with regards to this. And therefore, in conclusion, from the beginning of this experience of reality, where we started from 480th verse till this verse 511, he is concluding now that the doership, enjoyership, cruelty, being intoxicated, inertia, bondage, liberation. I am a seeker, I am not a seeker, it is difficult, it is not difficult, I understood, I did not understand, I am sattvic, I am rajasic, etc., etc., adayah, etc., 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 etc. Adi. Adi means etc. All the ownerships that we take, he says, these are imaginations of the intellect. All these are imaginations of the intellect. These have no place whatsoever in the non-dual infinite self. Buddher vikalpa natu santi vastutaha. There is no place for these options. These are all options. Doership is an option, enjoyership is an option, non-violence is an option, telling the truth is all the qualities that we are doing in Vivek, not Vivek Chudamani, where in Bhagavad Gita, Jnaneshwari, tomorrow, you are still in that. All these are options only, one quality against another quality. Where am I right now? Oh, I am speaking. I am at the level of my throat or my tongue. Our mind only lives at optional level. So here he says that all these options have no place whatsoever in the self that I am. The seeker who has come to establish in the self is speaking. Just like Jnaneshwar Maharaj in Amrit Anubhav. And who is this and what is this self that I am? It is that which is beyond Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. Nature is that where modifications take place. Mind is that where modifications of thoughts take place. Mind is nature. Mind is Prakriti. It is in the mind that you have thoughts of totality and individuality. It is the mind in which you have the thoughts of macro and micro. It is the mind in which you have the mind or intellect. It is that where you have the thought of the individuality, I am, and the Ishvara, the total, the originator. It is the intellect where you are convinced that this world is a play between the individual, the total, the Ishvara, and the Jagat, the Triputi. These three. And I have to go beyond these three. Where is this beyond these three? This idea that these three are there is also in our intellect only. We have given, where there is one without a second, we have created Jeev Jagat Ishwar. See how we are sabotaging our own happiness. And then we have created an imaginary journey that I am individual, I am bound, and I have to become liberated now. If you take the position of this seeker who has established himself, it's such a foolish notion that you have to realize when you are already. Everyone is already realized. That's the premise of Vedanta. That everyone is already the self. From the rope's point of view, there is no snake. From the water point of view, there is no wave. From the self point of view, there is no modification possible. Think. Only when you come one step down, then the drama begins. Then the phenomena begins. Don't come down. Accept yourself to be that, come what may. This comes, somewhere it comes, maybe in Panchadashi, I think. No, anyway, it's not relevant here. They have no place whatsoever in the non-dual infinite self that I am, which is beyond Prakriti and its modifications. So don't see yourself through the modifications. So when I am coming and sitting in the eyes, I call myself a seer. When I sit in the mind, I call myself a thinker. When I come and sit in an experience, I call myself an experiencer. This means when I sit in the body, oh, I am the individual. When I sit in the wife, I call myself an husband. When I sit in my, come and sit near my child, I call myself a father or mother. Just like the example that was taken before, you are superimposing the Prakriti on the self by coming and sitting near the Prakriti. You are giving it validity, and validity is given by giving value and importance, by accepting it as real. And once you know that sunrise and sunset are just a phenomena, sun never sets, sun never rises, you continue to enjoy the sunset and sunrise. Same way, a realized master here, he continues. People see him still in the Prakriti, in the body. He is not against it. But what is his disposition? Everything I alone am. Because this Prakriti also is included in the self. Prakriti matter cannot exist independent of the self. Mind cannot exist independent of the self. Pot space cannot exist independent of the total space. So, just like the entire world of the dream is included in the mind, exactly the same way, the entire world of the waking, the entire world of the dream, and their absence, the deep sleep, is included in the self. It's not outside the self. It is, how do you make it outside? By getting identified with it as separate to the self. When you start seeing yourself through the eyes of the other, then you have fallen down. When the man sees himself through the identification of the woman, he stops being a man. He becomes a husband now. When the self starts seeing itself with respect to the conditionings, then it becomes the individual. And this is the umbilical cord we have to cut. Stop giving value and attention to the conditionings. Start giving value to this pristine self, the conscious self, the self-effulgent self, the all-knowing self, the one without a second self, that I essentially am. And all our thinking should be towards that. So till now, everything that was told, I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer, I am not the cruel, I am not the intoxicated, I am not the inertia. So everything was from the beginning till now, from 480th verse onwards, everything was told from the negative point of view. Neti neti, I am not that, I am not that, I am the essential nature. Now something positive, a positive train of thoughts is told. Just like when we are talking, when someone asks us that, who are you? Initially we always say that I am We never say, no, normally we don't say that I'm not this, I'm not this. What do we say? I'm the husband of my wife, I'm the father of my children, I'm the son of my mother, and so on and so forth. Now, the positive side. Excuse me. हो गया, time हो गया. We'll just chant the verse and then we'll look at it next week. संतु विकारा प्रकृतेर्दश दर्शधा, संतु विकारा प्रकृते दर्शधा, शतधा सहस्रधा वापि, शतधा सहस्रधा वापि, किं मे असंगचित्ते स्तैः, किं मे असंगश्चित्ते स्तैः, न घन क्वचिद् अम्बरं स्पृशति, न घन क्वचिद् अम्बरं स्पृशति. I'll have to see the tune of this. This is not sounding right. It's a funny meter. Let there be tens, hundreds or thousands of modification in the Prakriti. What way am I related who is unattached, conscious self? The clouds can never touch the space. That I am. I am that one who is independent of all modifications. I am independent of all Prakriti. I am independent of all matter. And what is matter? Again, we'll tell it 100 times. Maybe one time it will click. What is matter? Tell someone what is matter. Which does not matter. Matter is that which does not matter. Matter is that where change is possible. That is matter. I?
Other than the sense.
Yes. No, we are just. So, matter is that where change, modification, loss or gain, that is possible. Change is possible. So, just like where is change possible? In the cloud shapes. Can the shapes of the cloud affect the space? No. From space point of view, there is no cloud only. Same way, all the clouds of doubts, of convictions, of ideas of seeker, being a seeker, liberation, I am bound, I have to realize, all these are clouds in our mind. They have got nothing to do with the conscious space that I am. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. We'll sit quietly for a minute or two, and next class is tomorrow evening at 7:30 on Gita. So 2 minutes, sit silent.